Welcome back, everyone. I'm Psycho Emerald. Today I'm back with another Star Wars The Black Series Hasbro 6-inch action figure unboxing and review. Today I have the Incinerator Trooper from The Mandalorian. I'm very excited to have this figure. It's going to go great with the normal Stormtrooper from The Mandalorian as well as the Artillery Stormtrooper. I have both of those figures. I will have those reviews linked up in the corner, or at least one of them. Don't really know, but this will go great with those two. Build out a little squad, and I know I'm going to like this figure already because I know how much I like both of those figures already. So I'm very excited for this. So before we get the Incinerator Trooper out of the box, let's check out the box itself. Okay, so checking out the box itself, we have that window in the front where you can see that Incinerator Trooper looking really, really awesome. It's got a flame effect and a flamethrower right there. Very cool. Star Wars The Mandalorian Incinerator Trooper down here. 4+ Hasbro, and here we got this cool artwork of the Incinerator Trooper, and since I have the normal Stormtrooper, it can go right next to it, and that's pretty cool. Incinerator Trooper, Star Wars The Black Series logo. Up here we got a window to let light into the box for inbox collectors. Window kind of wraps around a little bit. The Star Wars The Mandalorian kind of orangish amber color kind of wraps around here, and then we got the Star Wars The Black Series logo right there. Disney and Hasbro, we've got the banner wrapping all the way around. Number 3 in Star Wars The Mandalorian line. That cool artwork right there. Black Series logo, Incinerator Trooper, and it says, Incinerator Trooper armor was exceptionally heat resistant and bore red markings in order to indicate their specialty. Very, very cool. More legal stuff on the bottom. I'm excited to get this figure out. So we pretty much check out the whole box. So let's get the trusty unboxing knife and break the Incinerator Trooper out of the packaging. Alright, so here's the unboxing knife. So let's get the tape cut on the top of the box, and we'll be able to slide the plastic tray out and get the figure itself out of the packaging. So, very cool figure. Will go great in my collection, on my display. And looks like it has some cool accessories as well. But I guess I won't review the figure before I even get it out of the package. We'll see what I think of it. So, let's lift this off. I always like that. Kind of makes it feel like a reveal. Makes it feel like a more premium unboxing experience, which is cool. Get the flame effects out first. Looks very similar to the flame effects that came with Return of the Jedi Boba. Let's get the figure out. And we got the flamethrower itself. Nice. Alright, so we'll get the excess packaging out of the way, and we will check out the Incinerator Trooper itself. Alright, so here we have the Incinerator Trooper all out of the package, and I'm pretty impressed with it. It's pretty much everything I thought it was going to be. There are some minor complaints, but mostly it's positives with this figure. So yeah, let's check it out up close. So first thing to note is that this is permanently attached to this. As far as I know, I hadn't heard that before. But yeah, that's how it works. So it's permanently attached to the backpack here, which is kind of like this flame gas, I imagine, that helps the flamethrower emit its
incinerary power.
I thought that when I got this figure, I would like the red more than the yellow on the Artillery Stormtrooper, but I'm actually liking the yellow more. I don't know what it is. I prefer the color red over the color yellow, but I think that yellow works better on the Trooper, but I think this is really cool. I like the way that it's kind of chipped and weathered and worn. It looks like this Trooper has been through a battle or two, which is very cool. The Artillery Stormtrooper didn't really have that, but I do like that they have that on this one. Then here's the Pauldron. It's got kind of these lines sculpted into it, and the red is a very nice red. It's different from the red on the rest of the Trooper's armor, but it's still a very cool Pauldron, and it is different from the Artillery Stormtrooper, which I will get out later and we will do a comparison with. But yeah, overall, the sculpt still fantastic. I love this like Mandalorian Stormtrooper sculpt. It is really, really good. I hope that they release even more. They released the Jedha Patrol Stormtrooper recently, which looks really, really good, even though they're not actually in the movie. But yeah, the sculpt on this is absolutely fantastic, as well as the articulation, which we will go over, even though we've gone over it before. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So let's talk about the accessories. I'm just going to move right into the accessories. Usually I do a little transition or something, but I'm just going to move right into the accessories. My biggest complaint with this is not that it's permanently attached to the backpack. That kind of makes sense. My biggest complaint is that you can't have him hold it with two hands, because this hand is shaped to hold a normal like E11 blaster rifle. So you can't actually have him hold this with two hands, which is a little annoying. You could have him put his hand over it, but to actually have him hold this with two hands, it's not really possible to make it work. So I think what would have elevated this figure to a better, like a higher level, would be if they actually took the time to sculpt a new hand made specifically for resting the flamethrower. But yeah, since they don't have that, it is a little bit disappointing that you can't really have him in a pose holding the flamethrower with two hands. But yeah, I'm still pretty happy with this figure, and I think the flamethrower itself is really well sculpted. It's got kind of this texture going on here with like little holes that must be like vents the gas as it flows through the flamethrower. So that's really cool. And the wires are pretty sturdy. They're probably not going to break or anything like that. And it's well sculpted, not painted at all, but it's still really, really cool. I think it gets the job done for sure. And yeah, but minor issue is that you can't have him hold it with two hands. But overall, it's a well sculpted weapon that is very cool. But now we're going to check out the flame effect. Alright, so here's the flame effect. It's very rubbery, unlike the one that came with Boba Fett. And to compare it with the one that came with Boba Fett, it's much larger, but it is similar. Looks like the Boba Fett one is a lot lighter there, but yeah, I have him in this pose. That's how I display him. So, but it is different. This one has more of an orange at the end of it, where it comes out of the flamethrower, and this one has more of a yellow, and this one's much larger and wider. But it is pretty similar. They are pretty similar. This one just looks a lot bigger. So yeah, let's try to attach this one to the Incinerator Trooper. All right, so there he is with the flame effect attached. Now, a problem I've run into with this is you can't really have him stand up with this on here. So if you want to have him displayed, it's going to be pretty difficult to get him to stand up because he's going to be extremely front heavy because of how heavy this piece really is. So that's just one thing to be aware of. I'm sure you could get it to work, but I think I'm probably just going to leave this off when I display this guy because it's going to be a hassle to try to get him to actually stand up. But it is cool that they include it for like photography and things like that, and just if you want to display your Incinerator Trooper with the flame effect, I'm sure you can figure out how to make it work. But personally, I'm not going to hassle with it. Might try it some other time, but for me, I'm going to kind of just have him holding the Incinerator flamethrower up like that. I think that's a pretty cool pose because he can't hold it with two hands and the flamethrower makes it a little bit too heavy. So yeah, let's check out the articulation of the Incinerator Stormtrooper. So I have gone over this before, but for those of you that may not have seen my other reviews on the regular Stormtrooper and the Artillery Stormtrooper, I will go over the articulation again, but these troopers are very, very well articulated, so I'm totally up for Hasbro re-releasing this, repainting it as many times as they want, because it is a fantastic looking sculpt and a fantastically articulated Stormtrooper sculpt as well. So, head is on a ball joint, so you get all sorts of good movement like that, and then you get a lift up at the shoulder, and there is butterfly joints at the shoulder as well. And then you can single joint the elbow. There is a hinge and swivel at the wrist, a ball joint at the mid-torso. There's also a lift up at the leg, and then it lifts back pretty far as well and can lift out like that. And then you got a single bend at the knees, swivel, and then you have a rocker and pivot at the ankle. So really great articulation. You can get him into really like natural poses, even just standing there. That's what I love about these troopers is like you pretty much gotten the import quality at this point Black Series has. So I'm pretty impressed with it. Been really enjoying it. And this guy will go great with my other troopers. And they're all very well articulated. So let me give you guys a closer look at the Incinerator Stormtrooper. Okay, so before I wrap up this review with my finishing thoughts, let's do some size comparisons with some of the previous Stormtroopers in the line. First up, we have the regular Stormtrooper. I love this figure, it is really good, but if you put it next to him, still looks really good. You could get this guy into some great aiming poses. I think once they made the Incinerator Trooper, they probably fixed the helmet warping issues, because every time I look at this one, like when I first looked at this one, I thought it looked perfect, but now that I look at this guy and the Artillery Stormtrooper, it's like they fixed it, I think. Maybe it's just the paint throwing me off. I don't know. But there you have those guys next to each other. They're pretty much the same height. But I think, yeah, they look cool together. I'm having fun building out kind of a little Stormtrooper squad because I have another Stormtrooper, which just might be my favorite Black Series figure ever, which is the Artillery Stormtrooper, so I'll put that guy in. Alright, so there's the Artillery Stormtrooper, but they are pretty much all the exact same figure. I think this one's my favorite. The backpack, like, not staying on is a little bit of an annoyance, but it doesn't take away too much from the figure for me, because the backpack itself is so cool that I can't really complain about the little minor issue with the backpack without addressing how cool the backpack actually is. So I think that that's probably my favorite out of the three, but all three together, they just look like a cool little squad. This is my type of army building. I might get into, like, army building, like, get multiples of these at some point, but really, I prefer to spend my money on figures that I don't have yet, rather than getting multiple of a figure that I already have. So that's just how I feel about it, but it is kind of a little squad that I've built out. So we got the ketchup and mustard and the plain flavors of the Stormtrooper. Pretty cool. They all look really great together. I'm excited to have these guys all on my display together. So yeah, let me get these two out of the way and I will give you my finishing thoughts on the Incinerator Stormtrooper. Right, so my finishing thoughts on the Incinerator Trooper. I think this is an awesome figure. I'm excited to have in my collection to go with my other two Stormtroopers, and I think I would recommend it to a person who likes to have different types of troopers. Like I said with the Artillery Stormtrooper, if you already have the Mandalorian Stormtrooper, just the regular one, then I don't think you need this one. But if you're someone who likes to have different types of Stormtroopers and different troopers like from the Mandalorian to be represented in your collection, then I'd highly recommend having this, because that's how I feel about it. Is I like to have different types of troopers. Just as soon as I got the regular Mandalorian Stormtrooper, I knew I wanted to get this guy and the Artillery Stormtrooper to go next to him, because it just makes a fun little squad on my display. If you have a similar stance to that on your collecting of troopers, then I would highly recommend it. Or if you just want to have this guy because he was really cool in the final episode of The Mandalorian, and he's also in the Force Unleashed video game, like he would go really well with your Gaming Greats Force Unleashed Stormtrooper figures, because that's where the Incinerator Troopers are from originally. So that would be cool as well. But I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But yeah, very cool trooper, very cool figure, and I kind of knew I was going to like it because it is on that original 2020 Stormtrooper body. You can't really go wrong with that. So I really like this figure and would highly recommend it to fans of having different types of troopers in the collection. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a like. That would be awesome. And if you like Star Wars The Black Series reviews, I do a lot of that on my channel. I do mainly Star Wars The Black Series and Marvel Legends unboxings and reviews. And also coming up on the channel, I got this in recently from Big Bad Toy Store as well. Once again, fantastically packaged. But we have Crosshair, the Imperial version from the Bad Batch. This is a figure I'm really excited for. When I saw it on Big Bad Toy Store, I was just like, click, 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 in my cart. Checked out. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that figure. Probably going to record that review next, but I'm not really sure. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like I said, subscribe if you like Star Wars The Black Series, if you're looking forward to seeing my review of Imperial Crosshair, or if you're just into Star Wars The Black Series and figure collecting in general. That's what my channel is about. So hope you guys found this review helpful. Hope you found it enjoyable, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. I'm saying Incinerator Trooper this time. Last time I tried to record this, I kept saying Artillery Trooper by accident.